they're more salmon beds. I guess it makes sense if you're getting it.
This is so fun. Annette.
Cool.
Okay, that's the best we can do.
Oh, that's great.
Oh God, I want to take pictures. I want to listen to it. It's so good.
Oh, we need a big Audrey smile. Well, all right.
I've got the book.
It's better. That's the right side to be on.
How nice you look.
It's not.
No, it's Lotta Larue's birthday. Or Lotta Larue's birthday. Happy birthday, Lotta Larue.
Happy birthday, Annette.
Perfect.
Here goes.
Happy birthday
To Annette.
birthday.
Hi, Annette. Happy birthday.
All right.
Happy birthday, Annette.
Happy birthday, Annette.
Happy birthday, Annette.
All right.
Happy birthday, Annette.
Babs.
There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run.
Got the camera. Hopefully somebody
Get
got
down
the
here, Annette.
All right, I'm here.
See miraculous sights, but the greatest they ever did view was the night 'neath the moon at Big Otto's saloon when we roasted Miss Lotta Larue. For those that don't know, she's the star of the show. Please gather around in her honor to roast and to toast to the host with the most. If she shoots you that look, you're a goner. Her energy expending on projects unending. Woo! She's a whole Lotta woman. It's true.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same
She's
thing?
gorgeous
Woo!
and tough,
Yeah.
like a diamond in the rough. She's our beautiful Lotta Larue. Nothing too
I wasn't in much for Destiny.
Out of my way! Out of my way! Whoa, partner! What's the rush? It's a gold rush in Alaska. You too? Where are you from? Ohio. My name's Danny Dogood, and I'm going to Klondike to get rich like everybody else. Say, you a miner too? Heck no! I'm way over 21. Look here, Danny. I got a pouch full of gold nuggets. Look, gold, right from my old mine in Porcupine. That's where I got my name, son. Porcupine Pete. Wow. Where's the Porcupine mine? I want to go there. It's in Haines, son. Haines, Alaska, the prettiest place on earth. Why, it's enchanting like the women. Oh, this. What is troubling your friend so?
Oh, she is wallowing in sorrow. Oh, it's my mother. She's dying. Her mother has worked for years in an art gallery, painting and doing carvings. It finally caught her. She caught arthritis. The doctor bills her so much. We just don't know what to do. This is getting ridiculous. My dying mother, alas and alack, there's nothing left for me to do but throw myself in the Lint Canal.
my gold. Through sleet and snow, we're on the go. We sing this tune, the ladies swan. We always get our man.
Sergeant Justin! Oh, you're just in time!
Yes, the lady, Sergeant just in time of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. How can I help you?
This man has stolen our gold!
Your gold? You scalawag! Hand over the gold! Now hold on there, Sarge. If I was a betting man, I'd bet your blood's gonna hit the earth before mine does. And I am a betting man. That's right, man. We always get her man.
And I always get my man! We thought you were dying!
What are you going to do about that bloody hole in his chest? That's what I want.
I've never been sick a day in my life. I'll live as long as I want to, and want to as long as I live. This is your cue.
You're cute.
Thank you all very much for this great performance. You know, I know you can't believe that Annette is actually my older sister. She looks so young tonight. This is fantastic. And I got to thank everybody for coming out. I mean, maybe not everybody knows me. My name's Alan. I'm the much younger brother. You know, I always make a joke about that because whenever I come back to Haines and they'd see my older brother Tresh and I together, they said, "Well, we can sure tell you guys are brothers." And then they'd always ask, "Which one's older?" And that always bothered me. Well, anyway, we're all blessed with young genes, especially my sister Babs. She's amazing. The Crusader of Fort Chilkoot.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Nobody better.
Here. We're going to have a party. My children are all here. I'm channeling Ted. This is my son, Alan. Tresham, and where's Roscoe? For those of you who don't know, it's not bad. For those of you who do, it's bad.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Fred Seals, former mayor of Haines. Impersonator of my dad, pretty damn good.
Ted was like my father, too. And born... Yeah. Here. Let's party.
It was all about the party, and my sisters carried on the tradition, you know. And I think her favorite line, we were talking about this today, is, well, somebody's got to do it. You know? So if there's a party to be done, somebody's got to put it on. If there's something to be fixed, somebody's got to fix it. You know, all of it.
If there's a role to be played, if there's something to be done and nobody else wants to do it.
Rise to the occasion.
She best epitomized epitomizes the spirit of my parents who came here in 1947, and with that attitude, somebody's got to do it, and they ended up doing a lot. And Ed has carried on the tradition probably more than anybody else that I know. So that's great. But we're here today to celebrate her birthday, and every milestone birthday, and I'm not going to mention the number, Annette.
I heard 30.
Every milestone birthday, should be, a little bit of a roast as well as a toast. So, I actually, I saw a picture of my sister when I was just very, very small, kissing my feet. And,
Those were the last feet she kissed.
Growing potatoes between your
do you remember
toes.
that?
I hate that.
But she was actually my babysitter, because my mother was always busy with something, and so Annette actually, used to really like me a lot, cuddle with me, kiss my feet, all that stuff. Not for very long. But she's great, and I think that I'm sure that some of you here have a story, have some sort of adventure that connects you with my sister Annette. So I'd invite anyone who wants to come forward and relate that.
Hold it right there, cowboy. We gotta start this party off with a bang.
Plug your ears!
I cannot stress enough the importance of covering your ears. I'm dead serious.
Okay, since I interrupted everybody with that bang, I'd like to tell you a little story about my sister. In case I haven't met anybody tonight, I'm the littlest sister. My name is K.A. and I live in Ketchikan. And I come up for events. Anyway, Annette has always been a Christmas person and a wintertime person. And when she was little, before my time, we'd walk to school. We all grew up walking to school over in Haines.
Uphill both ways.
Uphill. and it would be snowing and blowing and minus 20, and Babs would show up at home and Mom would ask her, how'd you make it? Well, I just closed my eyes and closed my nose and walked up the hill. And then there was the horses. And I'm talking again prior to me. But we had horses in the barn, which now is Lutak Lumber, and they would get out, and it was the kids' jobs to get them back in and feed and water them. Right, Trash?
Yeah.
And we also received when the Haines missions shut down, there was a big auction, and my dad went over. Judy and I can remember this. He bought 2 small calves and they tied them to the back of his pickup and drove along the road. And Judy and I were in the back of the car looking at these snot-nosed calves that didn't really want to walk along with the truck. So they went into the barn and we raised them. And Alan had the
soup bone and sausage.
Alan had the advantage of when they got out of their pen, which was quite often, chasing them down. And my dad, the man of many hats, would put on his special purple flat round-domed hat
That he'd found in the yard.
and go and teach Alan to lasso these things.
He found a real cowboy at the harbor bar.
Oh, I thought he found it
and
in the
had
yard.
him teach me how to throw a rope. That's what happened.
And he named them Soup Bone and Sausage. So Soup and Sausage grow up to the point where they're meat. And we're sitting around the dining table one night, and Dad, who appreciates food very much, goes, "Isn't that delicious? Do you think it's soup bone or sausage?" And I didn't eat the rest of my meal. But to the woman who makes it happen, Mimi Gregg was known to be the woman who makes it happen, and I think Annette is now the woman who makes it happen.
When I first came to town, somebody, I think it was Lee Horner, Lacey or somewhere, recruited me to be Danny Dogood, and the role that Joe just portrayed, and the Lust for Dust show that was more or less a Gregg family production with some help from the Siebens line. And the thing about it was by the time I joined the show later, in those later years, Tresham and Mark and Annette and Gail Gregg all knew the lines so well that they would routinely just go off script and start making remarks, and they were such good actors that it was just play for them. But you know, I couldn't act at all, and I was pretty wooden up there, and I would get completely lost, and they would just look at me as like sweat in the form of blood would form on my forehead, and I just thought that was so unfair, and I never really repaid Annette back. But one thing did happen later this summer. Actually, I think I was a couple years later, because my lack of acting ability had shifted me to the Mountie role, where all you had to do was sing and drag in this stupid dog, and everybody loved you, right? You actually didn't have to portray anything. And so I was the Mountie, and the Mountie came in late in the show, so people were used to not seeing the Mountie early on the show. And the night I was supposed to go on, about 11 o'clock at night, I was at a campfire for a friend, Barnaby Down, who was leaving town at the time, and I looked down at the campfire and I said, "Oh Christ, I was supposed to be the Mountie tonight." So there's the show going on, just as you saw. And the villain, Dusty Rhodes, has the gold, and he's going to make off with it. And the music comes up, dun, 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 and there's a spotlight, and there's nobody there. And the rest of the show, which is about probably a third of the show, had to be entirely ad-libbed. But, you know, the show was in good hands, so they pulled it off.
That was so scary.
So I got you back.
You couldn't act. You couldn't even show up. But you could sing.
But I do want to say thank you so much for keeping the party going.
Hey, here.
Between the lighting of the fort and the parades and the floats, I think we've always, as a community, looked to the Greggs to put the sparkle on what we do in this town, and it's a great privilege for our town to have your family here.
And high hopes for Tina and Jade.
Stay away too long.
I've been privileged to be a guest at the Greggs for over 40 years now. And I'm so happy to see Tina continue the tradition. And this is a wonderful party, and happy birthday. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. This is just so nice.
Wait,
You're
I didn't have any, like one big story to tell, but I did want to thank you for all the classy things you've done. And just when I first came to town, I did a pedicab. Everybody wanted to run me over, but Annette liked the pedicab, you know, and she wanted to ride in it, you know. And,
Put it in a parade.
and then, and doing the snow dragging all those years and hauling it down there and hauling it back to storage and getting 15 people, and the high standards you have has always impressed me. And I do this joke on the tour that I do, and I say, and Haines, if you're 5 minutes late for a meeting, you're considered early. But that is not true with Annette. If she tells you to be somewhere at 7 and you're not there at 7, she's like, where were you? You know, and there's no excuse for being late. And that's good. That makes your own standards a little higher, you know, to be around her. And I just want to thank you for all the work you've done at the Chilkat Center. You go down there in the middle of the afternoon, and she's down there painting white by herself in the hallways, you know, and it's not that much fun to paint white by yourself. She just cared, you know. She wanted the Chilkat Center to be nice. Her standards are high, and
There was a wedding.
it's an inspiration to be around you, Annette, and I think we can all, you know, benefit from your energy. And just,
Here, here. That's lovely. That's great.
She has a garter. A little bit of newbie friends, but the thing has always been the 3 Ps. And so we're a little bit of partners in crime, and it's parades, productions, and parties! Happy birthday!
Here's another Haines truth. You can do anything as long as everybody knows about it.
I have to add something too. Is like every time I come back to Haines, I know that my sister has a list of things for me to do. And one of the things she asked me when I came this time, she says, "Alan, do you still do cartooning?" I said, "Yeah, I still do some of that." He said, "Well, can you paint some of the windows of the barracks buildings while you're here?"
And I had him haul up some doors after the barracks.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I would like to say something. You don't, people don't know us, but we're the NOAC.
Yeah, we do.
And we came to this community many years ago, about 25 years ago, on vacation, and we rented from the Greggs here, her wonderful mother and father. And we the first time, and then we said, gee, they were so gracious. Let's go back next year. And we came back the next year, and we fell in love with her father and mother, and her, you know, herself, and everybody in the community here. And we left our equipment here. And I said, this is, of all the places we've been, one of the most friendliest towns we've ever ran into. And it kept bringing us back and calling us back and calling us back. And Annette was one of the impetus of friendship and friendliness that brought us here and made us feel so comfortable, along with her brother and her sister and the rest of the family that we met through the years. And they made us feel like family. And we decided to become family here, so we moved here. And that's because of Annette, and that's because of her mother and her father and her sister. They just made us feel so welcome, and we feel like that today because of the Gregg family. And of all our travels and all the people we've known, it doesn't get any better.
Woohoo! The cause of it all!
Without the NOAC, so they had to keep coming. Here comes, Tresham.
Go ahead, Trish.
Well, everybody's so eloquent, I feel.
Dust your road.
But, you know, of course, I owe everything to Annette. She does everything, and I just get by like the little pig that played the flute and danced, you know, and built his house of twigs, you know. She's a practical pig and maintains everything for us. But I'm sure that's just one aspect of her, of course, you know, everybody knows. But I really want to say that we have such a wonderful group of friends and people here that are so talented, and, you know, I'm hoping that we can all work together and make things happen here, and just like Annette does. You know, follow her lead, but, you know, everybody's got to step to the plate. And I also want to thank Audrey for producing this great party along with the other gang.
Thank you,
She's,
Audrey.
So thank you all for helping and for coming, and I hope everybody continues to have a great time.
We have a few more roasts though.
Jim's gonna come up here. Some awkward moment.
Your hand or something,
No awkward moments.
Okay, the best time.
Oh well, you tried.
Jim will give us a good story.
That's true. Okay, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim.
I was wondering when you were coming out.
Well, I got good blood.
Well, we've been buds for years, and back in 1990, Annette and I went to the Pioneers Convention in Fairbanks. And I was dressed in that outfit, and she was dressed in that outfit. Two of those outfits would not fit me anymore. Sewn together. That one fits hers. Because physically, mentally, and every other way, she's still 30. There must have been at least 100 couples dressed in all their finery. You know, people have been in Alaska for maybe all their lives. You know, they were gorgeous outfits. Well, because of Annette, you know, the only way I could get noticed was to be with her, even in her red outfit.
I don't think so, Jim. I don't think so. You look pretty darn spookle.
Anyway, of 100 couples with costumes, we won the prize. Because of her. I have many other stories, but most of them are against the law. So I'll see you later. Thank you, Annette, for everything.
Anybody else?
I happen to think of one that probably most of you don't know, but back when the ferry system first started, somebody came up with the idea that we were going to have the Alaska State Ferry Queen.
That's right.
And the various communities around Southeast Alaska entered their candidate for the Queen. And Annette was the candidate from Haines. And I still remember the pictures of you standing on the mast,
on the mast
with all the other Queen candidates. But anyway, how old were you then?
17 probably.
17, yeah. So at 17, she was our Alaska State Ferry Queen candidate. So she's been out there for.
Yeah. That was so funny, but you know, all those things were good experiences for Hicks from the Sticks. You know, it was a real live beauty contest. You had to wear high heels and bathing suits and formals, and you had to do a talent and all that jazz.
Wow.
And pose for pictures and stuff. So all that is kind of good experience.
Hi. I just realized that I probably, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm the only person here that was a little girl when Annette was growing up. She was, and it just occurred to me, she was not my Girl Scout counselor at camp. Do you remember?
Wow.
And so it's just, while I'm sitting here thinking about it, she was the one who was always like somebody to admire and look up to and be the girl I wanted to grow up to. I can't dress like her. But yeah, just I remember right now like sitting in the elementary school classrooms, and this was when the high school was in the same building, and the high school kids would all, students would all let out of the classes and go up and down the hallways, and you know the grade school kids would watch them all and just admire them so much. because they were so much older and so much more mature. So, anyway, I just remember she was my my counselor and the older girl that I always wanted to be like.
I have to say something because when Chip and I first came to Haines, our first home here was right here. And Ted and Mimi rented us a one-bedroom apartment with baby Eliza, and we were immediately embraced by the Greggs. Embrace might be a different kind of word. We were signed up for action. And it was like, oh, I said, oh, I'd been in some plays in college. Oh, you can be in Lust for Dust, like right now, like tonight. And Mimi at that moment started bossing me around and telling me what to do, and I was in shows and plays, and she had me, Mimi had me directing a Carousel when I had 3 children and was pregnant with my 4th. I was like, I've never directed a play. Oh, of course you can do it. I say, careful, you're fine. And then what happened then, when I was bossed around by Mimi for years. I did Act Fest and all these shows, and then Annette took over and started bossing me around. Dragon, she'd call me up, be in the Dragon. I was run over by a truck, and my job in the Dragon is holding a 50-pound fire extinguisher behind the head and squeezing it. And I was like, Annette, I'm not sure I can still do this physically. Oh, of course you can. We need younger people. Oh, we'll get some in the back, but the front have to be the veterans. And but really, kidding aside, I really think that between the Greggs, where we lived first, and then the Schnabels, we were the last residents of the Dome when we were there, because we had a big dog, and Ted didn't like dogs in his apartment, so we moved over there after a little bit here. But anyway, I think the Greggs really showed me the value of stories, and gave me, I think, the confidence to tell them the way they put on their show and told their story. And I really don't think I would have written a word if I hadn't have lived here and been exposed to your family. So
I have one more.
All right.
Thank you. Well, we lived in this apartment too when we first came to Haines. And Ted, Mimi, and my folks were good friends, and we were in the plays, of course, The Smell of the Yukon, and then later Lust for Dust, wearing this hat actually. But my fondest first memory of Annette was when I was working at the sawmill out at Mosquito Lake. It was John Hoyt, if anyone remembers John Hoyt. He was a National Guard guy.
Downstairs,
Yeah? Oh, I'll be darned. Well, he had a sawmill out there, and I was working for him on the trim saw at the beginning of the green chain, and it broke, and I wound up losing my middle finger, which is a great icebreaker at parties. After it was sewn up, I was on the couch next door, and Annette baked a big plate of chocolate chip cookies and brought them over to me. And that was probably one of the highlights of my year. She came over with cookies, and here my hand was up on a stack of pillows, and every heartbeat just hurt like a bugger. But while she was there with those cookies, there was no pain.
Well, I'd like to bring you all backwards a little bit, because we have a sign here that says Big Otto's Saloon. And for those of you who are relatively new, like in the last 30 years, Big Otto's Saloon, or bar, was The Smell of the Yukon, the staging of The Smell of the Yukon, which was the melodrama before Lust for Dust. And Deborah and Christy and Judy and K.A. and everybody was, all us kids grew up being Alan, Tresham, Babs.
And my folks.
Yeah, everybody grew up being in it. And in fact, us little kids would sit in the front and prompt. And usually my dad played Big Otto at Big Otto's bar.
Roll tonight.
So we have his bar down there and Big Otto's saloon sign. And once in a while he'd have a little bit too much to drink at dinner. And so we'd have to prompt him to make sure he remembered his lines. And the Smell of the Yukon for many, many years was produced in the burnt out barracks building, or the site, or the barracks building that is now burnt out. And then when the Chilkat Center was built, we moved over to a real stage. Annette has quite a history here, obviously, and she was a can-can dancer in the Smell of the Yukon. And the little sister was the junior can-can dancers. We do these little things with our flat chests and, thought we were real sexy. And I always looked up to the big sisters dancing. Right, Christy? And then we all grew up into being dancers as well. And Deborah played the piano and was a dancer. The other side of my sister, and as a result of my dad, was the girl in the red velvet swing. Some of you may have noticed that there's a couple swings inside. There's one on the buffet, and there's one right behind in the corner there. That's why they're there. My dad built the red velvet swing at the Totem Bar, which is now the Fort Seward Lodge. And it would lower down, the beautiful girl with the skimpy outfit would get in and the good-looking legs, and she'd swing, and it would raise above the heads of everyone. And she would kiss them all, blow them kisses, and hit the ceiling with her toe, and back and forth. The girl in the red velvet swing. And Dad had the right music, which we couldn't find.
Oh, you couldn't find the red velvet swing music.
So, she is the girl in the red velvet swing. She's Lotta Larue, and she's a dancer.
I should be not proud of that history.
But it's so much fun. I think that we could talk for hours and hours and hours about the lovely Lotta Larue, which is I'm proud to call her my mom. And I'm going to just have to shut it down because we have lots of food and lots of mingling to do. We've had new people come in, and this is what it's all about. I am very disappointed in everybody, however, for not roasting her enough.
Okay.
Wait. I hated spinach. I hated zucchini. And I cannot believe I had to wake up at 8 o'clock every weekend to clean the house.
You're Cinderella.
And to do outdoor activities. And use my imagination. And do things without a TV until Sam came along and tapped into the neighbors. So I don't know why you guys are all toasting this woman. She's just a slave driver. She's just a slave driver.
She's intimidated everybody.
Absolutely. But here, what I want to say is that on the roast, Lotta Annette gets her chance to roast us all back, should she choose. So she gets the last cheers. Unfortunately, Tom, I'm sorry. But actually, we have the very rare occasion of having all of my aunts and uncles in one spot at one time. Woo! And I'd say that is worth a toast in and of itself. So please, and we need a group picture. Okay, good. But please, cheers the Gregg family floor. She gets the final roast of all of us. Okay. So to put you on the spot, Miss Lotta Larue, please roast us as you please.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. This is so nice.
And I know that every time I have a party, I toast my good friends and family, because that's what it's all about. It's good friends and community. You know, that's what I'm all about, is community. Because we all work together in our various little ways to make this place a happening place. And I'm sorry I can't say anything nasty about any of you, because you're all wonderful. So, hear, hear. Did everybody get everything?
Are we good? Is that it? One more for posterity.
Wait, 1, 2, 3.
That's the take.
Okay. All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ned. Happy birthday to you.
Let's go with that one out, baby. You can do it.
Go out on a Saturday night, Sunday morning you don't look right. You've been out just to beat the time. Oh, honey, you've been fooling around, but I know.
Okay. Purple camera? Yes!
Dennis, we have gin. We have gin.
Shoot quick, Andrew. That's what happens. Press the button.
One more for posterity.
Okay.
Okay, 1,
posterity.